Right now, the man accused of trying to assassinate President Trump at the White House Correspondents' Dinner is back in court. Cole Allen has been in federal custody since Saturday after he was tackled by Secret Service while trying to storm through a security checkpoint. He's charged with trying to assassinate the president, transportation of a firearm, and discharging a firearm during a crime of violence. Let's bring in MS Now Justice and Intelligence reporter Ken Dilanian and MS Now legal analyst and former prosecutor Charles Coleman. Ken, what's the latest from the court hearing this morning?
We're just getting information in, Anna, that the defendant is conceding, agreeing to continued detention in this matter, which is not terribly surprising. I mean, nobody thought this guy was going to be let out on bond after allegedly mounting an attack that put at risk potentially the president and members of the cabinet, although his lawyers are disputing that they were ever at risk. But he's going to remain held over for now as this case proceeds on it.
And as I understand it, there's some new evidence that is likely to come up during this hearing?
Well, there's, the defense is arguing that there is exculpatory evidence related to the shooting, and it may have to do with the questions about whether this attacker actually fired a shot from a shotgun, as authorities are alleging, because, there's a Washington Post video analysis that does not appear to show any shot coming from this attacker. There's still some questions. Ballistics is still being analyzed. The government hasn't shown proof that this attacker fired a shot and that the Secret Service agent who was hit was struck actually by this attacker. I think we have some sound from Jeanine Pirro, the U.S. attorney in Washington, on this.
The Secret Service agent did not shoot himself, and you've got Cole Allen going there shooting off one round, and I don't think there's any question of what happened here. This defendant was calculated, he was premeditated, he had every intention of killing the president and anyone who got in his way.
Now, Pirro says there's no question, but the defense attorneys seem to have a question about whether this could have been friendly fire from another officer, and that is still all being analyzed.
And I want to go back to some of the pictures we've been showing here. This is some new evidence that was apparently part of the court filing where the prosecutors identify these images saying this was a selfie that Cole Allen took at his Washington Hilton hotel room about a half an hour before he allegedly tried to storm through that security checkpoint. And you can see, have circled some, what they say, evidence that connects him to this crime is here in the photo. He appears to be wearing an ammunition bag that he was later found with, a shoulder holster, a sheathed knife. Charles, this case, of course, is just barely underway, but how significant could those images be?
Well, Anna, those are pretty significant images for the prosecution because what it helps to do for them is build a story that connects the defendant to multiple charges, particularly the charges of bringing these weapons from out of state in order to commit this crime. And so the possession of these weapons as he has them at the occurrence of the crime in D.C. is one thing, but the longer that they can show that these weapons were in his possession earlier and more often, the bigger a chance they have at being able to substantiate some of the other charges. So they're building a case. They're going to be able to bolster their credibility and ultimately construct a narrative that is going to lead to a conviction. And I think that's where the value of these sorts of images really has its weight.
We just heard Jeanine Pirro talk about more charges being brought. Given all of what we know at this point, what kind of additional charges could he face?
Well, that depends on the evidence that they're able to discover. Listen, Jeanine Pirro right now is attempting to build a narrative in the court of public opinion in a way that creates absolutely no doubt that they will be able to convict this individual of whatever it is that they choose. Right now, as Ken basically lent himself to or lent his remarks to, there is not necessarily conclusive ballistics and Ken alluded to this, that have established that this individual, Cole Allen, is responsible for actually firing a round. Of course, Jeanine Pirro has taken the step to say that they know that and that's happened and so on and so forth, that this isn't a matter of friendly fire. But all of that evidence has to be shown. And depending on when you get those ballistic reports, what happens, that could ultimately escalate the charges to be more seriously, to be more serious, and to go beyond the notion of attempt into talking about the actual assault and the shooting or attempted, homicide charge against the Secret Service officer if it can be established that Cole Allen was the trigger man.